Hey, welcome to episode 14 of Primary Target. I'm your host, Who the Fuck, joined by my co-host Vargren, and today we're joined by a very special guest, Xtra Squishy. Squishy, welcome to the show.
Hello. It's good to be here, dude.
Glad you could come. So today we're going to cover like a few topics, but mostly just kind of real casual, talking about Squishy's background story in Eve, the resource allocation changes, the war so far. We'll talk about some other stories, maybe a kill mail at the end. But let's dive right into it. Squishy, you're a very popular figure in EVE Online. People enjoy watching your YouTube videos. People enjoy watching your streams. I, for one, am a fan. But I don't know like your full like I could look at your corp history and there's like lots of changes there, but I don't know like the
Quite
story.
long.
There's quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Famous and infamous, I think is the best way to put it. I get a lot of shit from people, especially in Imperium. I mean, no, I didn't say that.
they
I
seem
don't
like
know
you.
why.
Corp history.
Yeah.
The corp history is pretty long. That's something else a lot of people say. I change corpse faster than they change underwear. I've heard that joke quite a few times. But the reason for that is mostly just, like I get bored and I want to try something else. I don't get stuck down most of the time.
So what brought you here? What got you? When did you start? What got you into Eve?
Well, I'd actually been playing it off and on when I was in school. I used to, back then there was no alpha clones, so you just have like a 2-week free trial. So I would make just an account, play for 2 weeks, make a new account, play for 2 weeks, and so on. And then finally, this account, the one I'm on now, was also one of those accounts that I tried out because I actually have the Xtra Squishy characters, like without the LOL at the end. This just happened to be the one that I subbed. And that was all because one of my friends who'd been playing the game for about a year before me got me into the game. And on my first day, he took me into a mission, invited me to Corp. I joined Corp, not realizing the friendly fire was on, and he blew my ass up in a fresh. And I was like, yeah. He was like, now you've learned everything you need to know about Eve, and from then on, it was just
Nice. So,
but he got me into Gentleman's Agreement that doesn't exist anymore. They used to live in like, was it Vale? I think like P3 EN area. I think that's Vale.
But, yeah, God, that's a very old name. I don't think I've heard that in a while.
Yeah, so I went straight to nullsec after doing like a few weeks of high sec missions, straight into PvP. I was PvPing pretty much from the first week I was playing the game. Found out very quickly that gate guns exist in low sec, and my poor Rifter ate shit. I still remember that.
Yeah, it's a lovely learning moment that we all go through, I think, at some point.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, other than that, after Gentleman's Agreement, I can't really remember. I think I remember there was a group called the Project of Valhalla or something like that. There was a bunch of like elite low sec PvPers, or I used to think they were elite solo PvPers back when I was still a noobro, but they invited me in and I learned like a lot, especially about like links and tackle and stuff like that. But then I joined Red Federation because if you join Blue, just die. Red is the best one, dude. I think RVB's still around, right?
Yeah. RBB, they're still doing shit. I have been on both sides of that war.
Ugh.
Team Purple,
no, Red Fed, best fan, dude. Yeah, but I used to listen to a podcast back then. I think it was Fly Dangerous. I don't know if you've heard of that, but both of them were in RVB, and that's what got me into that. But eventually I got burnt out after, I think I was in a Gila, and I jumped a gate, and there was a Gnosis there, and he tackled me, and I was like, oh, cool, fine, I'll kill this Gnosis. Then fighters appeared out of nowhere, because back then, you didn't have to be on grid for fighters, so they flew over, and they killed my Gila, and I was just like, yeah, I'm done. And I took, I think, a 2-year break. I came back in 2016 when the same friend that got me into the game in the first place was like, oh, we're playing again. Did you want to play with us again? And that was when I joined probably my favorite corp, Dog's Corp, which is where I pretty much learned everything I needed to learn about the game with a bunch of friends, but none of them actually play the game anymore, so it's kind of sad. That was the longest corp I think I'd been in. Yeah, I was over a year in that corp, which is pretty substantial considering my track record.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a long time for you. Like,
Yeah, but some of the funniest moments happened in that corp. Like we staged out of Alassan in Blackrise. I'm still the number one. If you go on Zkill and check top killer of all time in that system, it's still me, even though I haven't been there in ages.
Nice.
Darkness, that doesn't exist anymore. They staged out of Karassan, which was the system next door, and we would harass the shit out of them. There was just so much content back then in Black Rise with all the faction warfare stuff going on. But eventually we joined Init Mercenaries with Dogs Corp. We stayed there for I think 2 months, and then a lot of the people stopped playing Eve at that time, and our corp was eventually like either removed or we left. I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember what I did after that. I'll have to check my employment.
this is 2016, so that's like what, World War B?
God, I don't know. I don't remember that being World War B.
It all just fades into the fucking mist of time after a while, I found.
Yeah.
So looking
But
at
you seem
my...
to now
Okay.
you seem now to like sort of bounce between a few different places, like between Test, Horde, and
Yeah, I think Horde is still my
Dockworkers.
favorite one. Test, I mean, I don't have anything against Test, but I just did not enjoy myself there. I think it was mostly because the majority of the fleets I went on was like either 10% tie-dye, or intoxicating, or structure bashing, and though none of those 3 things are fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think after we left Init Mercenaries, I joined and did some low-sec stuff. And then I think I joined Godless Horizon, which was an Init Corp, which was, again, a really fun group of people. I think a couple of them still play. I'm not really sure. I haven't kept track on that. Then the notorious, how should I put it? Exit from Init is probably the best way to put it.
Is this
That kind
the
of
one where you
put me on the map, I think.
you
Got
sort of
me some
AWOC'd someone,
attention
right?
in the negative. No. Definitely
Right, well-
not, dude. Didn't do anything. Oh, I was innocent, dude. What you're doing. But then after that, I joined Did He Say Jump? And oh my god, that's where I am now. I rejoined them now like a week ago. And they're so fun, dude.
Yeah, we have a good friend.
I think we still live in Cormonan.
Yeah,
So
we have
it's definitely fun being back in Losec.
Blasius is a good friend of ours who is like one of the FCs there, and we really enjoy him too. He's been on the show.
Oh yeah, man.
He jumped his active tank Dread onto a Fortizar yesterday, and then remembered that he was in his buffer tank Dread, not his active tank Dread. So
he is a wonderful human being in every way possible.
Yeah, then I went into Volta, and we got the whole whose alt is Ascal Zephyr fiasco, and I was kicked from that. So yeah, then I joined Test, it looks like. Stayed there for about a month. I can't really remember. I think I just got bored of that and left. And then yeah, ever since then I've been just going up and down all over the place. Cap F, that's still my favorite corp to ever exist.
It's a pretty popular corp too. Like
people that play this game, but unfortunately, they are also in the big blue donut, so it's kind of not something I would like to stick around too long with. I'll tell you, man, if those guys lived in Losac or did wormhole stuff, I don't think I would ever leave that group.
We sort of feel the same way about like our time in Brave. Like if Brave wasn't part of the blue donut anymore, like we probably would still be in Brave if they were doing their own thing and like, you know, not part of Legacy. Yeah. But it's not our call to make, I guess. So
no,
who knows? See what happens on the far side of this war.
Give a
Hopefully,
shout
hopefully
out.
it all shatters and there's no blue donut anymore, and everyone's
Oh,
fighting
never.
everybody, and it's just what
It's
we
all
want.
gonna be Blue Donut. I want to give a
You
shout
know,
out to Illyria right now, just because.
my heart says no, but my mind says yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's that hope inside of us. It's that that naive hope. It says like, oh no, it's fine. It'll go the way we want it to go. And then your brain's like, you're retarded. That's not gonna happen.
Why
So
does my brain have an American accent?
I I totally understand your reasons for having corp, and I can appreciate that. Like because you don't seem to be the kind of person who lacks friends in this game, and
Or
as long
enemies.
as
Or enemies.
or enemies, and like as long as you have friends and like it doesn't seem like so. Let's say like for instance you left Cap F and you went to test, right? It seems
Yeah.
unlikely that you would lose those friends in Cap F because they'd still be your
No.
friends.
We
And like
still play other stuff, like we've been playing
Yeah.
Among Us recently and stuff like that. So definitely not.
so like it seems like a logical thing for a dude in your circumstances to want to like hop corpse to find as much fun and content as you can. So I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
that.
I mean, even in like Imperium, there's people that like me, which is pretty funny. I actually
Yeah.
heard a term that they use for people that are my fans that are in goons, and it's called squishy sympathizers. That's what they call them, which is just hilarious.
That's pretty funny. I like that. You should put that as like a title in your stream or something like that. Top tier squishy sympathizer. So tell me a bit like how you got started in like your YouTube game because YouTube game's strong, buddy. I'm a big fan. Like people like your
I'm
shit.
the most profitable unmonetized YouTube channel in the world, or at least in the Eve world, I guess.
I mean, you are prolific to say the least. You know, there are hundreds of videos here. Like, how did you get? Like, where did this come from? Have you always just like have you just record your gameplay and?
Yeah, back like fucking hell. When was this video made? Let me look. Let's see. It's probably 2012. I started making a series called Randomness, which was just me recording random shit from games, just dumb things or silly things or things I just found funny. But back then, I have to have been recording before I like did the stupid thing, so obviously I'd miss out on most of the stuff. But now I use shadow play, so I just literally push a button and it records the last 10 minutes of like whatever was happening on that screen. So it's become a lot easier to capture those moments now.
Oh, honestly, Shadowplay has been such a game changer. Not to like, we're not sponsored by Nvidia or anything, but man, it's really
I'm
good.
Definitely not. Got a goddamn
But
AMD
if,
card.
but if they're offering a sponsorship, dude, hit me.
Yeah, we'll take it. All the money. We'll take it. All the money and the
Yeah.
and the graphics cards.
But yeah, with the YouTube stuff, I mean, shit, I've been doing that for 8 years now. Just making dumb little videos. Most of them only have like 100 viewers on them. I mean, 100 viewers on one of my videos back then would have been like, oh my god, holy shit. Like, that's crazy amount of views.
It feels great. It really does.
My first Eve video was actually the video of me getting killed by my friend in his Thrasher. And I posted that probably 2012 as well. Yeah, September 17th, 2012. So just over 8 years ago now. But I mean, I would just constantly just post video after video.
Even
and
for
that's
us,
all
like,
it is. It's just
we're only like on episode 14, and I remember like when our first video broke 100 views or 100 listens, and I was like, "Bro, we're on our way. We're on our way, buddy."
But yeah, was gonna be famous.
Fark was like, "Calm down. It's not that big of a deal," and I was like, "Whatever."
I think that's one of the things that people get into it for the wrong things, right? They go like, I want to make these videos and get thousands of views, and then when they make the video and it only gets like 120 viewers, they get really demotivated, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're doing it for that, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, I would make videos because I wanted to like other people to see what I was doing, and mostly just to capture like what I've done. I mean, that's why I make videos on YouTube now. Like, my channel's been unmonetized for about a year now, but I still post videos all the time. Just because, one, I enjoy doing it. Two, I enjoy seeing people like enjoy the stuff I make. I mean, like, Eve needs more videos. I even did a contest where I got people to make videos in like my sort of style, I guess you could call it. And a bunch of people made some videos for that, and I gave the person, I think it was 1,000 plex.
Nice.
For those very few uninitiated with the Extra Squishy video sensation, what would you describe as your style? How would you describe your?
Yelling into your microphone, having fun, and yeah, blowing stuff up with blasters mostly.
Yeah.
I think my style is just not a style, right? It's mostly just me not. I don't want to say I don't put a lot of effort into them.
I mean,
But I feel like I don't need to at this point because it's so easy to me. Like, I could just do all this chroma keying and like stuff like that, and people go, "Oh man, how long did you spend on this? You must have had this ready to go already." And I was like, "No, I just made that in like 10 minutes."
But like, you're a meme generator, dude. Like, if you were to look at like after the Ricardo videos came out, the Hyperion, if you were to look at the Hyperion sales after that, I guarantee you they spiked. Like,
I never actually looked at that, to be honest.
I almost certain of it because at least dudes in my corp.
I think I've definitely increased the amount of people who trained Hecate skills.
Yeah, even me. Like, I recently realized that I did not have that trained. I didn't have Galente Destroyer 5. And Varg was like, yeah, you should do that. And so I did it.
Yeah. It's a fucking great spaceship. Also,
definitely not OP at all. And
yeah, no.
I've actually just had an idea, which is that, like, anytime Squishy now puts out a video, if you invest in the ship he's using,
exactly.
I think
I gotta write this down. I gotta write this down. Well, we'll see.
I'm already building Hecates. I'm already building them.
Invest in guacamole.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got this huge backlog of videos. These like massive amounts of stuff. What are your highlights? What's your favorite stuff? What did you enjoy making the most? What do you enjoy watching the most? Do you even watch your old videos? Like,
I do. I have to admit, I do go back and watch them. I mean, if I didn't enjoy the videos I make, I wouldn't upload them, right? So I've got to
absolutely
actually enjoy them. Definitely, I think one of my favorite videos is probably one of the videos that got me onto people's radar, which was the worst Titan drop video. Again, this is in Dogscorp, which I was talking about earlier. The dude dropped his avatar on a Naglifar and had his safety green, so he couldn't doomsday it. Oh, it's just the amount of stupid shit that happened back then. But I think the videos that really got my channel to where it is now is definitely the Welcome to Delve series. And I got those were like some of the most fun videos I would ever made. Just editing in.
That's a fun series to watch.
Like parody montages, I think they're called. Is that sort of style? I think that's the term for it.
Just like editing Filthy Frank into your videos. That's just like editing in memes. You know what I mean? Like,
something no one ever picked up on is my How to Ricardo video, which has like 50k viewers now.
I think it's great.
There's not a single comment on it. There's not a single comment on it where people realize that I accidentally put Trimarks on my ship instead of bulkheads. And I didn't realize until the video had been out for like a week.
Huh. People were like, well, Squishy knows what he's doing.
No one has ever said that. Like, if you go back and watch it, you'll see in the video that the armor goes from like 10,000 to like 18,000 or something. And I was like, oh shit, I put the wrong rigs on. But
I really enjoyed
Squishy style. Like, how to do something is to do it wrong.
I really enjoyed the Ricardo versus Sims one where you killed like, was it the shack and 2 nesters?
Yeah.
That was
the funny thing is I make those calls all the time where it's just like us going in on a very bad fight. And most of the time we don't win, right?
Yeah.
But then every now and then you get like the Paladin where our 3 polarized Hecates just kill him. Just kill him, dude. Which is
Just
now
kill
like
him,
a
dude.
meme on my channel.
Yeah, it's a meme. So like, there was one you did the other day. I can't remember what you were flying, but it was a battleship because you had
The Freak Bay one.
the Frig Bay, yeah, where you killed a
I was
Vedmak.
in a Typhoon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was a Typhoon, and you lost the Foon, you lost the assault frigate, you killed the Vedmak, and you had fun doing it.
Exactly. That's what people don't see. I get comments on that video where people are like, "Oh my god, you're not even ISK positive." It's like, who the
Right.
fuck cares about ISK positive? I was fun positive.
Yeah.
That's all that
I
matters.
think that's lost. That's lost on people. They're like so concerned with whether or not they're ISK positive, whether it was worth them dying or not. And
That's
it
the
was like,
problem with Eve. That's why everyone's so risk adverse.
yeah.
Because
And
all they think about is ISK positivity. I don't think goons are thinking about ISK positivity right now.
Yeah.
The fucking Keepstar is now dead. But
Damn.
how much did it cost?
What it keeps going for? Like 200 bill? Something like that?
It's like 170, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
They
Well,
probably
it's going to definitely timestamp this video or this podcast if we don't put it up right now.
Yeah, I want to see how much. So, a recent change that you may have some feelings on is the resource allocation change. And I'm curious to know how you feel about that.
I don't like it. They did it wrong. They shouldn't have taken away resources from people. It doesn't make much sense. Like, it just seems like some guy in the boardroom just like slammed his hand on his desk and was like, what if we just take away everything? And then everyone else just didn't say anything, so they just put it in the game. Like, no trit in nullsec. Just, I'm not an industrialist, right? I built like 3 ships. Well, I mean, I guess I used to build ships back in the day, but I don't. It's not something I normally care about. And normally, when I see like Rorquals getting shit on, I think it's funny. But this change just doesn't make sense.
Sometimes you're doing the shitting.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel very mixed bag. I mean, at some point, I know that CCP has said multiple times that this is just the first step, and they're gonna tweak things. But no one cares about that because until they tweak things, it's going to be really bad. Like Hyperions went from like 240 to 300, and
Jesus.
it's just all the prices just went up, and I feel like after this change, it might change. I don't know. Prices are going down a bit, but they're still pretty high. It's going to get to the point where a fitted Hyperion costs like 500 mil now.
Is that where like your sort of grudge with it lies? Is like the what it's going to do to costs? It's going to drive them up.
Yeah, and with everything being more expensive, people are going to value its positivity even more now. That's the big thing that is why I don't like it. It's already hard to get like a battleship to get a good fight because everyone was like, oh, I don't want to lose my ship. But now if everything costs even more, like they're going to be even less likely to risk those ships.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could definitely understand that. Like, I don't want shit to get more expensive. I already thought about like, you know, the ships that I do make. Like, am I gonna have to like, am I gonna just raise my prices like everyone else? Is there gonna be competition? Am I gonna have to like just take a cut on the little bit of margin that I already have? Like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how it's gonna play out. Like, depending on what these extra changes are and if they even come, because the CCP, while they've been showing a lot of kind of good signs recently, do have a habit of just making changes and leaving it for years. So,
yeah, I mean, they changed the Svipple and the Confessor, so they couldn't insta-warp because they felt like the insta-warping 2-3 destroyers was really unbalanced. And then they added the Hecate and the Jackdaw, but they just forgot about that, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I would never want them to change the Hecate's insta-warp, but it does not make any sense. Like, that's why it's so strong. It's a ship that does 1k DPS with frigate tracking, insta-warp, and combat probes. Like, holy shit.
It is a phenomenal spaceship. I feel like we shouldn't be talking about it in case something happens.
No,
please,
no,
please
don't
don't
worry.
nerf the Hecates. Please don't. It's
Yeah.
perfect. Leave it where it is. Bring the other ships up to that level.
I feel like if they nerfed the Hecate, I would like it, depending on how they nerfed it, it would really affect my desire to play this game.
It's a
Because right
terrible
now,
ship.
Hecate is like, yes,
It's a terrible ship.
Horrible.
Horrible.
Dude, it gets
we hate
looted out
it.
so easily.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Yeah.
If
garbage.
anything,
Yeah,
the Swivel is a fantastic ship, and you should not touch it in any way, shape, or form.
Now, an OP ship is the damn Jackdaw, dude. Look at that thing. Gets used for fleets all the time. You never see anyone use Hecate fleets, dude. Clearly, it's not balanced properly.
See, that's perfect logic.
There we go. All right. The C2P guys have gone now? Okay, good.
we can talk about how good it is.
So, right now, as we're talking, you're watching a Keepstar die.
Oh, it's dead already. I stopped
it's
watching
dead.
now.
Okay. So, that was Frat anchoring a Keepstar in Delve.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about...
They'll put down another one tomorrow, don't worry.
What do you think about the war so far?
I think Goons have lost.
Okay.
Oh, expand on that.
Okay, so NC, and I don't know who else because I wasn't really watching it too much because I was streaming myself at the time. But NC, I know, dropped Titans and Supers from this battle report. It looks like Brave, Frat as well also dropped Supers in Delve, and they didn't get punished for it. I mean, obviously, this was like a bit of a... Like, there wasn't a timer for this, right? It was just, oh shit, this thing's anchoring, we need to go. And then suddenly Supers. So they probably weren't ready for it, but still, like, if they can extract those Supers and Titans now that the Keepstar is dead, then I don't know. I feel like this is definitely the pinnacle fight that would decide how the rest of this goes. Because if they can't defend this, or they can't stop this from happening, they're just going to keep doing it. And if they already failed once, they'll just keep failing.
But you can only fail so much until you run out of resource, right? Like,
and if that, well, I mean, Goons might not run out of resources, but still, like, if they just keep throwing dreads until they run out of dreads, and they still lose the fight, then why would they keep doing that? They would just stop fighting like they did in 49U. They used Supers, they lost those Supers, and then they didn't show up for the structure timer. They just let it die.
I mean, I think morale's only going to go so far as well. You can't ask your pilots to just keep suicide and stuff.
Yeah.
The inevitable death, which is, I feel like it's becoming the Goon's only option at this point, as you say. Just to kind of explain really what's happening here, which was that Frat put a Keepstar down in Delve. The Goons have essentially been suiciding dreads to kill it.
500 bill worth of dreads alone now lost.
Yeah, I think that the kill board is still updating as we speak. And Pappy Forces has just been murdering them essentially the entire time, right?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that's happening is, oh god, my brain just went off on a tangent there.
Follow those tangents. You gotta grab on.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know where that thought went. I just completely lost that. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I will come back to me.
Yeah. So, like, there's only so much spin you can put on this shit before people are like, okay, yeah, the strategic objective, sure. But, like, that was a lot of fucking dreadnoughts we just lost there. And we didn't drop any Supers or Titans to counter. Like, okay, cool, we stopped their Keepstar. They didn't want it anyways. But that still takes a hit to morale. Like, people aren't dumb. Well, people aren't entirely dumb. Like,
people get caught up in the, what's it called?
Narrative?
Like the hype, I guess.
The
narrative, yeah. Like, Goons are good if they're on Goons, Tappy bad, etc. So I feel like it's also their stuff, right? Like, it's Goons stuff that's dying. Goons citadels that are dying. It's their home that's being invaded. They're not going to just be like, okay, yeah, Pappy are the good guys, I'm going to switch sides. they're going to fight till they've got nothing left.
Yeah.
So you are a well-traveled man, Squishy.
I just remembered the point I was making.
Yeah,
Okay,
go.
so
Okay.
yeah, the thing is yes, goons may have a very large plethora of resources, but they're not replenishing those resources, right?
Right.
'Cause they used to rock mine in like every single system, but now they kind of aren't. And I think yesterday or the day before, Test dropped some dreads on I think 5 or 4 rock cores, and they lost all 4 rocks. So their mining and their ratting has basically halted, whereas Frat is just going full hog.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
they're still rock mining, they're still super ratting. So while this whole war's going on, they're still just regaining all the assets they're losing, which is why I said earlier they'll just place another one. Because they will. They'll just put down another Cube Star, probably either today or tomorrow. And eventually, like if goons keep just whelping like 500 bill worth of dreads each time they put down a Cube Star, how long can they even keep that up for?
Right. At that point, it's just a war of attrition. It's like, well, I can afford
Exactly.
170 bill. How many times can you afford 500 bill?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Yeah,
why
so-
earlier I said they lost.
So yeah, so you think from here this is kind of like this is the crack, the crowbar's in it. It's basically Delve is now open for business.
No, but it's very. This is the writings on the wall for the war to be in its final phase, which is not good for goons. But
Right.
again, goons might just pack all their shit and go somewhere else. But
Yeah.
I don't know where they can go other than Fountain, really. And they don't
Hmm.
have anything there. They won't have any pre-existing resources. They'll asset safety everything to, I think, Hop-Hib, I think it is. Maybe it's somewhere else. And then they'll jump over to Hop-Hib and gate into Fountain, maybe, and restart there. But I don't know. I feel like...
Do you see that as being like a realistic option for them at this point? Or is it,
they won't
just
have
go down with the
enough-
ship?
No, they won't go down with the ship. Anyone who thinks goons is going to disappear because of this war is not smart. Like you don't delete alliances. Just look at SMA, Space Monkey Alliance. They've been kicked out and evicted so many times, and they keep coming back. The goon players, like they're people that have been in there for so long, they're not going to leave, and they've got credit cards, right? They don't need to have assets existing. They could just buy a Cube Star with their credit card, put it in Fountain, and restart, and hope no one comes and destroys it. I personally don't want to see goons go away, because then not only is there less targets to shoot, but the blue donut is now complete.
Right.
Because if let's say goons get deleted, right? Let's just delete goons and Imperium, right? Who gets Fountain? Probably, or who gets Delve? Probably Frat, right? Frat is now on the left and the right side of Test, so Test isn't going to want to compete with Frat. So they'll start an NPI or non-invasion pack, with Pappy, and Pappy will now be the big coalition. And where do they not own?
Right.
So your view of so if you're gaming this out, right? So your view is that like if goons go and they get forced out through whatever means, let's say they like fuck off the low sec or something like that, they're just out of the picture in soft space for a while, that you see it just forming a big blue donut, and that it's where what all happy space friends and everyone's just mining away.
I mean, I wouldn't say happy space friends, because goons and Test would kill each other all the time. But I think that would be the start of the stagnation. Just what happened on the Singularity server, the Chinese server.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened there. They took over everything. It was all one group that owned all of nullsec, and then they went into wormholes and killed wormholes too. I don't think
it's a bleak future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what would change that? I don't see any reason why that wouldn't happen, because Test isn't going to want a war with Frat, because look what happened in happening in Delve. Vast majority of Pappy, like it's NC Titans on grid, it's Horde Titans on grid, it's Frat Titans on grid. There's one Test Titan. There's only one Test Alliance Titan that's on this battle report. and there
I
won't
wonder
be
why.
goons to help them. So unless
No,
there's
no,
some like
absolutely
big
not.
backstab or change the CCP implements, why would Test not go for an NIP with PanFan? And if that happens, then yeah, everything's blue. All of nullsec will be blue together, at least in the terms of like Sov. Like you'll still die to Test, but you won't be taking Test won't be taking any of your citadels and vice versa.
But let's talk about like where you actually see goons at after this war, because I'm curious about what you think that'll look like. Because I don't think that they would allow them to just bow out of this war. I don't think Pappy would allow goons to just bow out of this war, move their shit out of Delve, and say, "Yeah, we give
They
up. We're
can't
moving
stop them.
away."
How are you going to stop them?
Yeah,
Like just asset safety everything into
I guess
lowsec,
true.
liquidate all their shit, fire sale it, and just go somewhere else. Like there's no way to stop that from happening.
I just think that
if they
like
do just
anywhere
decide to
there's
pull the plug, yeah.
I think that anywhere they decide to go into like Sov Null to try and put down some sort of roots again, they're gonna get stomped out while this war is still on, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Once the stagnation of like null sec blue donut happens, goons it'll be very difficult for them to take space unless they make some kind of deal. I think that's what happened last time when they lost Declan in the first Wobblebee or something else. I can't remember what it was called. Where they basically lost their entire space, and then I think Test like just let them live with like a little bit, and then they grew back into what they have now.
So, you being like a former initiative member, like, what do you feel about like initiative staying with the Imperium during all this?
I mean, I feel like they. I don't really know how to say that because goons kind of just abandoned them and found
Yeah,
them just die.
I feel the same way. Yeah, I feel like they left them hanging out to
I
dry.
always felt I always felt like in it was a very good nullsec wormhole corp or alliance, and that's how I just see them as. Is because they always just spring out of a unidentified wormhole, kill some rorks or supers, and then run back into the hole, right? Or
Yeah,
I guess fight if they can. They're a
Yeah,
very good wormhole alliance that lives in nullsec.
yeah,
that
basically.
Stuka fleet that they ran was that's so good.
I mean,
I
yeah.
love that.
Can you name any other FCs that have two doctrines nerfed by CCP just to
Yeah,
counter
it's
it?
pretty impressive.
Yeah, I kind of feel. I don't know if I mean you didn't really, but I kind of feel the same way. Like they left in it hanging out to dry in Fountain, and even now, it feels like they're kind of leaving them hanging out to dry.
I mean, Init
Um,
owns Fountain again. Like they took it all back, or most
yeah,
of
but all
it
their
back.
stuff was glassed, right? So that
Yeah,
was yeah,
but that's just citadels. You can replace those.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of these things like it was always going to be difficult to hold Fountain, I think, for the Imperium, and it's
It
where
wasn't
do you
worth
where do
it.
you
Is I think the
yeah
best
where do
way
you
of
commit
putting
your
it.
resources? You got to kind of pick your battles a little bit, which is why I'm like I'm still on the fence as to whether I think the Imperium have lost this yet. Like it's definitely looking real bad for them. I've got like I would say they've got like a 25% chance at this point of pulling it off. But I also feel
I
like we really haven't seen that full commit yet from the goons. Like we haven't seen them like draw that line in the sand and say like you're going no further. We're putting every fucking super that we have into the system, and this is going to be the timer. We're going to stop it here. Like that moment hasn't happened for me.
but I haven't asked then. How do you see goons winning? Like, what is the winning outcome for goons? Because I don't think there is one.
I think it's a morale win. It's the best that they can hope for here.
Yeah.
I think if
Like,
they can keep the morale up, if they can keep the fight fun, if they go out guns blazing, Delve burns, like one DQ is on fire and they're fucking toasting marshmallows on the barbecue, And then wherever they go afterwards, they're still going to have a strong core. They're still going to have the players you need. And like EVE Online, as you so correctly pointed out, like resources doesn't fucking matter. People have got credit cards. Most EVE players are like grown ups at this
especially
point.
goons.
Yeah, especially goons. Yeah. And if their morale is still good, they are happy to like keep putting money in and just go, that's fine. I'm just going to replace my shit, go somewhere else. We'll start again. We'll be low sec guys for a year. We'll wait until like the time is right, and then we'll move back out, and the Goons War Empires will start again. And like that for me is a win for Goons at this point. They'll forget it, but just make sure you go out with your head held. Like I know you use the Fountain Frank stuff in your videos sometimes, but I gotta say I love what he's doing. Like I really do.
Mean,
it's absolutely the way to fight it.
I don't know if Briscoe will listen to this, but if he does, he knows I love him. Dude. I mean, I make memes of him occasionally, and yeah, I mean, he definitely has a way of spinning things to make things entertaining. This the Found Frank thing is just hilarious.
Yeah,
it's so good. Like
again,
just the meme quality of this war has been fucking top notch so far.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a very strong narrative. For me, at least, where apparently I hate goons, but I don't think I do. I think it's more of just goons were always the target of choice because they had the most targets, so I would deal with them a lot. Yeah, and obviously, when you deal with a group of people a lot, you're gonna run into those people that are toxic or salty. I guess is the word they use now, and they just give off a very negative vibe. So then you return that negative vibe back to them, but I mean, hell, I've talked to people like Jay Amazingness, and at no point has he given me like bad vibes. It's just our two people talking to each other. There's definitely some bad apples in every alliance, and there's definitely some good people in every alliance. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, there's just people behind keyboards. Like,
I mean, like a month ago, I put in a real effort to join Goons. Which everyone seemed to think was a meme, but it wasn't. Like, I didn't want to see Goons disappear. I wanted to be on the side of the least blues, and I figured it would be fun to be on that side for once. I mean, I haven't been in Imperium for ages now, but all of my applications got shut down, so I never ended up joining them.
So,
wow.
A while back, you were talking about citadels and dropping keep stars. And it got me to thinking, and I forgot to bring it up, but tell me about your Satio.
Well, it wasn't mine. So,
well, it kind of seemed like it was a little bit yours.
Yeah. Well, I made it mine. Okay. I squatted on that. Okay.
All right, full story. Come on.
Yeah. So I was just roaming. I think I was in Delve at the time, or in Fountain or somewhere, and someone was said like, "Oh, there's a Freeport Satio here." So I went over there to see if it was real, if there really was like a Freeport Satio there. So I went over, sure enough, Satio's there, dockable. Oh, I can man this thing, that's cool. So I man it, and I brought all 3 of my accounts down. I had one of my alts sitting in it, literally 24 hours of the day. I would literally go to bed with my character. No, what I would do is I would wake up at downtime, wait for server to come up. As soon as the server's up, I would log in and I would man the Citadel. Then I would go to bed so that I knew when I woke up, I would be manning it because obviously it's a free port, so anyone could man it.
All right.
So I wanted to make sure that I was always in control of that thing. So I think that was like an hour or two when the thing first went free port. And then after that, I was manning that thing until it died. In fact, I was manning it when it died.
Who actually anchored it?
No, it was from the story I heard, it was a goon that got kicked. But I think he still owned some citadels, so he just transferred them to NC. Like, no one anchored it. It was already anchored.
I see. Okay. And how many kills did this one Satio net you?
God, I don't even know. A lot. I think we killed a Rourke, a Fax, like 4 Dreads, and 2 Carriers, I think, and a bunch of subcaps. I even baited people by getting DTM to sit on the undock in a Hyperion, just untethered, and they warped a bunch of assault freaks down to him to kill him, and I just PDS'd them all. I think the funniest thing is I'd already booked that week off of work, so I wasn't even. It was literally the stars online.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Is that? Would you say that's one of your favorite stories from Eve? Or
It's definitely one of the few things I don't think anyone really gets to experience is owning a citadel in someone else's space in a perfect align point to the
yeah,
on the undock of a keep star. I would literally just right click, invite the fleet. They would normally decline it, but occasionally you'd get that one guy that doesn't, and instantly warp him to the Satio and bubble him.
that's actually a
Oh,
tactic that I watched you do on stream that I never actually thought to do in game. Was I watched you go into a system where there's lots of people. I watched you take all the names from local and drag them into
Drag
fleet
him
for
into fleet,
invites
yeah.
and see if you can get anyone to accept your fleet invite. I never thought to do that. I'm like over here de-scanning anoms, trying to catch Ishtars and whatnot, combat probing. I'm like, that is next level
Well,
trolling right there.
the
Like
problem
trying to get
is-
someone in the fleet.
The problem is like it's well and good to actually hunt targets, but like 90% of people are just risk adverse and they'll just instantly walk off and dock. So most of the time, I don't even bother trying to descan stuff because it's just a waste of time. Like you're trying to catch the morons, right? So
Yeah.
catch the morons because the morons are the ones that are going to
That's
accept
so
the
good.
fleet.
Oh,
That and a lot of bots also have it like scripted to accept fleet invites in case they get tackled, so they can get invite to fleet, and then the standing fleet can go save them.
I didn't think
that's
about
interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I never
literally
knew that.
that's how a lot of the kills go down in Delve or 1DQ. Is they'll just have a cloaky person sitting on it, and they'll just invite the guy to fleet, like everything that undocks, and try and warp it to a safe spot. I think 2 Titans died in Delve because a spy got access to the fleet and it had free move on. So he moved himself into squad command and warped 2 Titans to a safe spot and they died.
Oh, perfect. But yeah, it happens. It happens a lot. Definitely, it's a classic tactic.
What do you
Never
feel
actually thought of
about
doing it myself though.
what do you feel about like the botting in the game and like CCP's efforts to combat botting?
I think CCP's efforts are good, but it gives off the illusion that they're not doing anything just because of how easy it is to set up a new bot. Because,
Yeah.
oh no, my bot's been banned. Okay, well, it made me like 20 bill before it got banned. So let me just quickly make 2 more bot accounts, resub them, skill inject them up to Ishtars or whatever, and send them out on their way again. Then those 2 Ishtar bots have made 40 bill, and then they've gone banned. So then I'll make 4 more body accounts, and just so on, so on.
Yeah,
Like with skin injectors, that's the reason why botting is as bad as it is, I think. And it's not something I feel like they can solve without making it obnoxious for the rest of the players.
yeah. I mean, I think they're trying to fix a lot of this stuff with gameplay changes, like the ESS changes that are coming up.
But that's
then
not going to
again,
stop botting. That's just going
no,
to
it's
reduce the
not.
amount they make.
Yeah. Well, then they also make very confusing and weird decisions when it comes to that because, like, we were talking about the resource allocation changes earlier, and it's like all of the trits going to be in high sec. And in high sec, it's about as low risk as you could be to just run. Like the difference between a guy mining in high sec legitimately and a bot mining in high sec illegally, like visibly, is like you have to watch them for quite a long time to know the
Yeah.
difference. So it's just like I don't see how this isn't going to make the botting problem even worse when you've got like a
Yeah.
huge amount of the materials needed to run the game coming from this like super easy bottable environment.
I mean, I feel like the Orca bots in HiSec, a lot of them don't even try to hide that they're bots. In fact, I think most of them make it extremely obvious that they're bots. But I'm not sure if CCP really looks at HiSec botting too much. They mostly focus on the nullsec stuff, like the ratting. Because again, it's easier to spot a ratting bot than it is to spot a mining bot because he warps to about, deploys drones, mines the rock.
More actions to observe, yeah.
There's no difference.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly like what's the difference between a guy watching Netflix and a bot at that point? You know, it's only really if you watch them for long enough that you see, like, you can see them warping around and docking up and doing other things, which is like, and then you
like
kind of notice a difference.
20 orcas launch their drones at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Said that drones to mine the rock at the exact same time.
You got to sit there, you got to be looking at it, and like it's not an efficient system. It's like I feel like CCP has to tackle this at a gameplay level. You have to make stuff that you can't just easily have a bot be able to do this.
I mean, it's a clear display of how the game is when, like you just said, Netflix, like, why is gameplay something that I could just alt tab and just go do something else? I mean, I could literally just make like 100 mil by pressing F once, getting up and go and making like a cake.
Yeah.
Oh, like it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not.
Nullsec empires are built on this. It is.
Like, it's basically a mobile game making ISK in this game. Most parts of making ISK in this game, at least.
Yeah.
It's just like waiting for the money to come in. It's not. You're not actively doing anything.
So we're getting close to the end here, and normally what we've tried to do in the past is find a lost male for our guests and shame them for their terrible fit. But I think that it would probably bring a much better story to the table if we chose a kill mail that you've already sent me for a Rorqual that you killed. It appears to be at least semi-solo with an Armageddon. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, what the fuck happened here?
I'm glad before we started, you said he was going to sift through my lost mails and find something. I'm glad you didn't find the dread that I didn't bring Straunt with. But yeah,
that's a classic. That's an absolute classic.
Yeah, it's not a more embarrassing moment when on stream you're talking to like 100 people and you go, "All right, let's siege up." Nothing's happening. But yeah, the Rock. I think I was streaming that too, and I think I just filmed it in. And I saw a Rock on scan. And so I went over to find it, and it was just sitting on the edge of an Athenor tether. So I was like, I mean, fuck it. I mean, that's my mentality. It's just, why not try? So I just started bumping him. I bumped him off, scrammed him, started shooting him, realized how tanky a Rock is. And yeah, I just kept shooting him. And I think, because obviously I was streaming, people quickly realized what was happening. So they told Blues. I think NC came. What's that FC called? I can't remember the FC's name. I'm going to get shit for it now. But he basically said to me, like,
Pittsburgh?
"Oh, we'll let you kill this guy if you, like, vote Blazing Bunny for CSM." So the entire... they brought me ammo. They brought me drones. And they all just sat on grid, held me tackled, kept me there, and forced me to kill this guy, while the entire time I was just endorsing Blazing Bunny's CSM campaign.
That's a pretty good deal. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I take that deal.
Yeah, I even put it in my bio. I did vote for him with all 4 of my accounts.
Yeah, I make that deal all day long. That's probably the best trade deal in the history of trade deals, right there.
Yeah. The sad story is that guy actually came back and he was like, "Yeah, the reason I left the Rock is because my daughter had to go be rushed to like the hospital." And then, of course, I get a bunch of shit for that now because I just killed him while that was happening. It's like, of course I don't know that, do I? I just see a Rock there. I mean, his kid everything was all right, but it still sucks that. Yeah,
but not
it's
sorry.
Definitely not. Exactly it's not something you want to hear.
I shouldn't be laughing.
No.
I shouldn't be laughing. That's terrible.
It's a very unfortunate situation.
I mean, it is. But
he was like, "Oh shit, I need to go now." I mean, props to him. I mean, I respect the fact that he was like, he cared more about that than his fucking space pixels.
Yeah, fair play.
Did you get him to vote for Blazing Bunny though?
I don't know. I mean, I never actually I just got told and sent screenshots of like the Discord convo where obviously a bunch of people were probably pinging him like, "What the fuck, dude? What is this?"
It's funny that only like 2 of the NC dot dudes hoard on that kill mail too instead of like all of them.
Well, none of them are in MC dot anymore. They got a bunch of shit apparently for doing that.
Whoops.
Whatever.
Yeah,
it looks like it was fun.
I was literally when all the stuff landed on me, I got scrammed by a saber like straight away as I was trying to warp off. And then like a bunch of other stuff. I think it was like a Varga or a Golem also
Pittsburgh
tackled
brought
me.
his Varga in.
But nothing. Yeah, Pittsburgh. That's the guy. And they were just holding me there, and I was like, "Why are they not killing me?" And they were just like, "Kill him." And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm gonna run out of ammo." And like, "We'll bring you ammo." They brought like an Okator or something and dropped me like 1,000 missiles.
Oh my god!
I think that there was like something similar to that happened. We had like a no rourke mining in catch rule when we were in Brave, and Zarvox came through with a scepter fleet, and he caught a Rorqual that was mining in catch, like in an ice belt or something like that. Dude wasn't on comms, wasn't in fleet, was like completely AFK, and so of course he catches the Rourke. He's killing the Rourke with scepters. And like we formed up a Caracal fleet to go in and try to save the dude. The dude wasn't on comms. He wasn't in fleet. We couldn't get a hold of the dude. And they were like, go, take the Caracals. And I was like, nah.
I think I probably was on that fleet because I mean I do the Zarvox fleets all the time.
The guy's a legend.
And one of the funniest things is when they changed the combat scepters to not be nullified, like the Claw and the like Tyrannus in there. Everyone was like, ha, Zarvox, get shit on, dude. And then we were like, okay, we'll just switch to Hecate's and Kikimoras and Assault Frags. It's like, oh, can you go back? It's like, no, we can't.
Can't. It's too late. Well, this has been a delightful time talking with you, Squishy, but I fear our time has come to an end. I hope that in the future you can be a guest again on our podcast because
I would love if you got Mittani on and we could have a one-to-one chin wiggle.
Oh, you okay?
I've never had a conversation with Mittani before.
You guys want to have
have that opportunity?
A little chit chat? All right, I'll see if I can arrange that. But
I feel like there may be a long shot.
We'll see.
I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Anyways, man, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. We're both big fans, and I hope you keep making the content you're making right now because it makes me smile every time I see it. For everyone listening, this has been episode 14 of Primary Target. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.